When I was 13, I was overweight. And honestly, I wasn't really happy with how I looked. I knew I wanted to change something, but for a long time, I didn't actually do anything about it. I would tell myself, I'm going to start working out tomorrow. Or, I'm going to start eating healthier tomorrow. And then tomorrow would come. And I would just do the exact same thing as before. I think a lot of people can relate to that. You know you want to change. You think about changing. You watch videos about changing. But actually starting is the hardest part. For me, I eventually got to a point where I just thought, I don't want to keep doing this. I don't want to keep saying that I'm going to change and then never actually changing anything. So I decided to start going to the gym. And I definitely didn't know what I was doing at first. I didn't know how most of the machines worked. I didn't know what exercises I was supposed to do. And I was honestly worried that people were going to look at me and think I had no idea what I was doing. But after a while, I realized something. Nobody really cares that much. Most people at the gym are just focused on themselves. They're listening to their music, doing their workout, and trying to improve themselves. So if you're thinking about going to the gym but you're worried about looking stupid, just go. You don't have to already be in shape to go to the gym. That's literally what the gym is for. And you also don't need to completely change your life in one day. You don't have to suddenly start eating nothing but chicken and rice. You don't have to work out 7 days a week. And you definitely don't have to be perfect. I think that's where a lot of people make a mistake. They try to change everything at once. They create this perfect plan. They decide that from tomorrow, they're going to eat perfectly, work out every day, sleep perfectly, and never eat anything unhealthy again. And then they have one bad day. And suddenly they feel like they failed. But that's not how it works. One bad meal doesn't ruin your progress. Missing one workout doesn't ruin your progress. Even having a bad week doesn't mean you have to give up completely. You can just start again. The biggest thing I learned is that you don't need motivation to start. A lot of people are waiting for motivation. They think that one day, they're going to wake up and suddenly feel like going to the gym and eating healthy. But honestly, that doesn't always happen. Sometimes you just have to start even when you don't feel like it. And then, after a while, it becomes easier. You start seeing small changes. You get a little stronger. You feel a little better. Maybe your clothes start fitting differently. And then you actually start wanting to continue. So if you want to change something about yourself, don't try to change everything at once. Just make one small change. Maybe go for a walk. Maybe start working out 2 or 3 times a week. Maybe just pay a little more attention to what you're eating. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent enough to keep going. And I think the most important thing is that you have to decide that you actually want to change. Not because somebody else is making fun of you. Not because you think you have to look like someone on Instagram. But because you want to feel better about yourself. For me, I was 13 when I decided that I didn't want to stay exactly the same. And looking back, I definitely wasn't perfect. I still had bad days. I still made mistakes. But I kept going. And I think that's the part that actually matters. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to not quit every time something goes wrong. So if you've been thinking about changing something in your life, maybe you should just start. Don't wait until Monday. Don't wait until next month. And don't wait until you suddenly become extremely motivated. Just do something small today. Because a year from now, you could still be exactly where you are right now. Or you could be in a completely different place. And honestly, the difference might just be one decision to finally start.